In the 90s, teens recognize that voice of what band that was. I could not help myself. I love some good Christmas crazy music. My name is Karen. It wasn't Green Day. It wasn't Green Day. I can totally see why you might think that though. It was Eve Six, which wasn't a huge band in the late 90s, early 2000s, but that was kind of the time. I'm a graduate of 97 for high school, so definitely in there. My name is Karen. I'm going to be your facilitator today. I'm going to be here with you tonight, and Malika's in the chat. We don't get to work together very often, so she's giving you a wave. She's under the weather. She's feeling a little icky. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it. There's a lot going around. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Every time you're going out, don't touch your face, all the things. So we're wishing her so much love, but she's there to support you in the chat. This is going to be an awesome social. And it is my last social with Silk and Sonder. So I'm so glad to be here with you today. So I am just got so much going on in my Pilates studio that I have stepped back, but I will be a participant in the socials instead of facilitating, and you'll still see me in Sonder Club. So I'm so glad that I get to be here with my last social with you guys. Is there anybody that this is their very first social? I saw in the app there were some people who they were trying to get in, and this was their very first time. Da, 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 da. Anyone wind up with a punk rock Christmas party logging in through the link sent in 30 minutes ago? Well, I had the punk rock music playing a few minutes ago, but not. So hopefully you guys are in. Good. I'm glad you're able to get in. So we are going to be diving in to optimism. These are my absolute favorite. I love the journal prompts that are, not just a setup. I like the setups. Don't get me wrong. They help me get going on the week and hold myself accountable. But there's something really special about pen and paper when we are doing these journal prompts. So we're going to be looking at page 14 and we're going to be looking at page 15. And of course, we're going to have a special prompt today that is available only here at that social. I'm glad to be here with you guys too. It was a very hard decision. I'm sure I'll cry at the end. I cried yesterday morning, but I have so much going on. I have to be out of my space for my Pilates studio by December 31st. We have no lease. We just found out today that even though we have over $30,000 of lost revenue, that to get out of our lease, we cannot file for insurance and their insurance won't cover it. And so there's just a lot going on. And I want to be able to give the best of myself to you. And right now, I can't. My business is taking all of that. So here I am. Silk and Saunders community guidelines. I'll leave that up there for a second. And we're going to dive on in. Yeah, it wasn't the best day, but I will say I have the best clients, and we actually had a real estate lawyer spend over an hour and a half going through our hopefully new lease with us, which is a bigger space, which would be absolutely wonderful and be a really great space for us with extra places for reformers, a room for privates, and an office for health coaching for me. So it could be a really awesome thing. And someone who donates their time to someone like us is just super awesome. So even though it was a rough day, I'm coming in optimistic. Our agenda, we have our opening activity, and it's a good one. It's not one that's going to make you cry. So well, I don't think it will. If it is, it's a nostalgia cry, which will be a good cry, not a sad cry. And then we also have our journal prompts on page 14 and 15, and they're both really good ones. So our open, thank you, Jonah. I love that. Yes, maybe Phoenix should be my word of the year. I think maybe that might be it. I feel like that really resonates. Our opening activity. Now, remember, you can do this anywhere. If you don't have a journal yet, it could be on a scratch piece of paper. This could be in a repurposed area in your notes page, wherever it is that you want it to be. Opening activity, blank page, sticky notes, thoughts journal, wherever. The scent of a season. Oh, there's nothing better than thinking about scents. I am a huge fan of Gretchen Rubin. I think a lot of you probably were able to attend that book club that we did earlier this year. Super awesome. So we're going to imagine our holiday scent. The holiday season is a time of sensory delights, and scent is one of the most powerful triggers of memory and emotion. Take a moment to reflect on the unique aromas that characterize this special time of year. It could be the scent of freshly baked cookies to the fragrance of pine needles. These olfactory experiences can evoke nostalgia, joy, peace. If you could create your own signature holiday scent, what would it be? What ingredients would you use? And how would it make you feel? Yeah, Patricia, they did a one-off Gretchen Rubin for her Five Senses book earlier in the year. It was super. I didn't actually get to attend that one. I was working, surprise, surprise. But I love that book. If you haven't read it, it's definitely a good read. So here is my sense of the season. It would be a blend of pine, cranberries, and peppermint. And if I was going to utilize it, I would make a body sugar scrub. If you've never made one, super easy and super fun. And I would have a matching candle and I would put it into my shower. I don't have a bathtub, so it would be in my shower. I would take the Trader Joe's cedar balsam candle, Starbucks peppermint mocha, and fresh cranberry sauce. And it would take me through my childhood of cutting down trees in Texas, in through my years of obsession of Starbucks. Like I said, I graduated in 97. That's when it was kind of starting. Starbucks was starting to spread out a little bit. And so I definitely had that big obsession with Starbucks. During that time, it was super special because I had to drive to Houston because I was from a little tiny town an hour away. And it would also remind me of fresh cranberry sauce, and possibly even if you are on TikTok, you may have seen that a lot of people are making fizzy cranberries coated in powdered sugar, which I'm going to try out later this week, which I'm super excited for. So that would be my perfect scent. Jennifer said, I used to work at the body shop. Christmas scents were the best. I love Bath and Body Work candles. I know it might make some people might think that's basic, but I don't care. I love it anyway. So, I saw Mariah, you said you have allergies, you can have negative. Oh, so if this prompt doesn't work for you and the scent doesn't make it, maybe it's sounds of Christmas or taste of Christmas. So dive into some of those, or sights of Christmas, dive into some of those other scents. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to play some cocktail Christmas jazz music. And I'm going to give you a little bit time to dive into it. I cannot wait to read the chat and see what it is that you come up with for your signature scent. Ooh, I loved reading about all the scents that you guys are talking about. And uh, Kristen, almond was one that came up for me. I was like, oh, that would be beautiful if you like do marzipan fruit, and that's something that is a part of your tradition. And Monica, I hope that Vicks Vapor Rub is only for now and not actually during Christmas. So, hope you feel better very much soon. I saw a lot about the oranges with the cloves or the simmering pot with the mulling spices, or I've seen where people have taken and put it in piping bags and put the cranberries and the orange and the cinnamon sticks and such and wrapped it up for neighbors' gifts, which I think is a lovely idea. But right now, that's not cheap. Let's face it, nothing's cheap right now. So, but it would be a really nice gift, and I would really love it if someone gave me that for Christmas because I don't know if I would necessarily put it together, but I would really appreciate it simmering on my stove. Okay, we're gonna dive in to page 14. We're gonna look at the prompts and then we're gonna break the prompt down. We're gonna work on part one and then we're gonna look at part two, two separate, but we're gonna look at all of it together to start. So top one is write about a time when you felt particularly optimistic. What happened and why did you feel that way? And then the second section that like I said, we're going to split it. I'm going to give you two breaks to kind of go through it. Is going to be write about a time when you lost your sense of optimism. What happened and how did you find it again? So I'm going to share the first prompt. I'm going to give you some time to work. We'll share in the chat. We'll come back and then we'll dive into the second prompt and repeat. Rinse and repeat, right? So for me, it was, and this may sound horrible, so please don't judge me on this one. Hopefully you don't take it in the wrong way. It's great to be here with you. About a month into my business, because my Pilates studio was a year old last month. I went to bed asking the universe to send certain clients my way. So I was in bed and I'm like, okay, universe, I haven't seen Martha and I'd love for her to come and join us at our studio. And I had several people in that mind. And so I said, universe, can you please send me these clients that, I miss and love and I really enjoyed being there with them. The next day, my phone blew up. Like I was getting all kinds of texts. And I was like, "What's going on?" And everyone had forwarded me an email from the studio I had worked at before we opened our own. And it was from that studio, and she said that she was closing by the end of the year and that she was sending and recommending all of the clients that wanted to stay with Pilates come and join our studio. I was really so very optimistic about Q the core. I feel bad because I know it was kind of the nail in the coffin for her business when we opened ours, and that part makes me feel a little bit sad. Well, it makes me feel a lot sad because I did care about her, but she was at a point that it wasn't something she was loving and enjoying anymore, and what we were offering was something different than what she was offering. So, hopefully, thank you, Amanda, that it is a judgment-free zone because we were offering chair and tower and workshops and things that she wasn't interested in. She just wanted to be able to just teach reformer Pilates, and we're more holistic than that. So that is a time that I really felt the optimism, and I really felt like I manifested something really special, and it has been a very interesting year between me getting a hysterectomy, my business partner getting a hysterectomy, two floods, almost getting robbed, and me chasing a guy out while I was teaching a full class. I mean, all kinds of random things have happened. So, still feeling relatively optimistic. And I cannot wait to hear about a time that you felt optimistic and what happened and why you felt super optimistic. I'm going to go off camera and give you some time to dive into this. I cannot wait to read what you guys write. And just in case you were wanting to follow my pursuit, we are Q the Core on Instagram. If you're like, oh, well, Karen, I'd like to be able to stay in touch, that's the way that you can still kind of stay connected when I'm not in the app or no longer holding socials. right, beautiful people. I am loving reading in the chat. Um, Laura, I think it is interesting how one prompt is leading into the other. I'm reading what Kat just wrote, escaping 20 years abusive marriage with less than 2 years of having a neck surgery that went wrong, ruptured my esophagus, PICC lines and feeding tubes, and 7 more surgeries. Wow, Kat, that is a lot, friend. That is a lot. We are sending you all kinds of love. I can understand why it would be hard to find some optimism after that kind of situation for sure. But those of you who are struggling with this prompt, remember there is no rush. There is no rush. You can sit with this prompt, and maybe this prompt doesn't speak to you right now, but I bet you keep these journals. And just like Malika has kind of experienced a renaissance of her own a little bit in the last couple of months, maybe this will resonate with you at a later time when some of that optimism comes back. And in the meantime, maybe you just are inspired by reading all the amazing stories that you're seeing by these powerful women who are here supporting us um, virtually. So it's okay if it doesn't work out. Like if you don't want to respond to it right now, listen to the jazzy Christmas music, pull out a pen, color a little bit, and say, yeah, this isn't for me right now, but maybe it will be later. So let's dig into the second prompt. And those of you who are looking for a job right now, guys, I know it's tough. I know it's really tough. And as someone who runs basically a luxury item, I'm feeling that pinch too. I feel it, friend. And I live in a very affluent area right outside of San Francisco, where we're one of the richest counties in the world, and I'm still feeling it. Huh. Okay, let's look at that second prompt. Yes, Pam, yes. Okay. Oh, please don't say all that about the dating. I haven't disclosed this in the Silk and Saunders, but I'm going through marriage counseling right now after 21 years of marriage, and I'm really hoping I'm not going to end up there. But I'm really hoping that if I do, it won't be absolutely horrible. Mm. Okay. Right about a time that you lost your sense of optimism, what happened, and how did you find it again? All right. Um, I did this journal prompt yesterday because I knew I was going to have a long day today. And while you guys were writing, I read it and I started to cry. So I hope I can hold it together while I read this. No, obviously, I'm not. So bear with me. If the emotions come up for you, you're not alone. Um, Honestly, it was Saturday night. After a week has gone by and we still haven't sealed the lease or the insurance money. Um, I shared the story if you were with me yesterday morning in the morning setup. I after having a full hysterectomy, I'm struggling with hormone replacement therapy and regulating my emotions, so I'm a little more than usual. But I don't know if any of you are with Kaiser or know this, but with Kaiser, you do have access to a coach on an app, and it's on Headspace, the meditation app, but it's a separate service. And I was telling him, I'm like, it's really hard to be in the moment. And he's like, well, you need to ground. And I know you guys all know this, and I know it too, but it's a good reminder. 3 things you can see, 3 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, right? And so I started thinking about it and I was like, well, what on earth can I do to ground myself right now? And so I found it in fun. We have an arcade that opened down the street. It's a grown-up arcade. I mean, ultimately, it's a bar, but there's Pac-Man and Cubert and Centipede and Pinball and all the things. And I thought, wow, when you're playing Centipede, you can't be thinking about anything else or you die. So I went and I grounded myself in those games and I played, shooting hoops and ping pong. And I got a lot of that anxiety out. And after taking that moment to find something that allowed me to be in the present moment, helped me feel a lot more optimistic. Now, of course, we're still waiting on the lease, and obviously, we're not getting any insurance money, hence the tears. But I still felt optimistic And I still feel optimistic about what a new studio can bring, having that separate room for privates, having a couple of more reformers, etc., etc. So I'm going to put that prompt back up. I cannot wait to hear when life has given you some lemons, how you've made your lemonade, or maybe it's limoncello or lemon meringue. I love all of them. Lemon tarts, all the things lemon. I am so proud of each of you who had the courage to share in the chat your vulnerability, your mental health issues, relationship issues, all the things. And I am so proud of each and every one of you who were willing to put it all out there for others to see and find that optimism themselves. It's hard. And, I've always had mental health issues myself as well. I've started with anxiety and depression in my teen years. And you know what? It's circled back. And sometimes we have those ups and downs in life. And I'm doing all the things to be able to make sure I can take care of myself and do all of it. And I see that you are doing the same. And so I am so proud of each and every one of you who are here and just just willing to put it all out there to help someone else to be able to become a better version of yourself. Let's move on to a different prompt. We're turning to page 15. Take a deep breath, everybody. I think we might need it after. That was pretty deep. I thought this was going to be not as deep, but I guess it was a little deeper than I thought. Oh, I love that you're feeling less alone. Yes, strong for sharing these personal things. I agree 100%, Amanda. Um, Joy and Jonah, same, yeah, all of it, 100%. This is why it was a hard decision for me to be able to leave right now, because it is such a wonderful, strong community. Okay, so our optimism part, we're gonna break this into two sections once again. Um, when you feel optimistic about a person, a situation, or a goal, what does that make possible for you? What feelings does it involve? So then we're going to take a look at that one. We're going to dive into it and then we'll come back for the second portion. Actually, I think we're going to break it into three parts. I think that's actually going to be easier. It's kind of the way I kind of looked at it. So for me, when I feel optimistic, I feel hope, I feel expectant, I feel grateful, enthusiastic, confident, and connected to myself, to my mind body connection, connected to the community around me, kind of like this community. Now, if you might be struggling with some of the words, I did dive in and use the feeling wheel to come up with this. I use jotting emotions down. You might be more of a stream of consciousness kind of girl and like to write it out in sentences kind of thing. So I leave that up to you of how you approach this. Let us know what those feelings are when you're feeling optimistic. All right, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay. I didn't see a lot of words come through. I think a lot of us are just feeling all the feels right now, and that's absolutely okay. So we're going to divide this into two more sections. So looking at the yeses. So how might you create a space for more optimism in your life? What are five things you need to say yes to and five things you need to say no to? So we're going to start with the yeses and then we'll move to the nos. Um, my yeses. I mentioned it earlier. I started a 9-week program through Kaiser for depression yesterday. So I started medication last week. I haven't done medication in about 15 years. So this is a new turning point for me. So I'm going to say yes to that and make the time and make sure that it's important. I have been diagnosed with PTSD and I didn't make the time to be able to take care of it. So I know that this is something that's valuable. And maybe this will be something you are needing to prioritize this year as well. Oh, I love that. Going back to your intentions, meditation, love that. If you're a Kaiser patient, the Calm app's free for you as well. Meal prep, I feel better when I eat well. Obviously, because we're fueling our body with really good nutrients. And I mean, it's like gas in the car. Obviously, meal prep does. It's just sometimes it's just so much work. And I know that that's like the depression and anxiety on my shoulders because I know if my future self is going to be really thankful when I do that meal prep. Exercise. I got a walking pad because I'm still not able to do all the things I was able to do before surgery, but it's rainy in Northern California, so at least I'm able to walk and I'm slowly starting to add some. It's not really even Pilates, I hate to say, it's more pre-Pilates exercises to build my core strength back up after the incisions. And I'm hopeful about that as well. And then also nature, saying yes to nature, going out and stepping onto the pine needles of the redwoods, looking up at the glorious sky around us and feeling that there's something bigger than myself out there. So I'm going to go off camera and give you some time for your yeses. Let us know in the chat what you are saying yes to. And you do not have to come up with five things. If you come up with one or two, that's also awesome. Or you might come up with seven. Just because there's a certain amount of lines doesn't mean you have to fill them or you can't go over. I think we can all relate to what everyone's putting in the comments. Oh, putting that stuff in the shopping cart. I literally cleaned out my closet like 3 months ago and it's overflowing again. I'm like, what on earth was I doing? Why was I buying things that I did not need and probably didn't even want? Um, Eating. So easy to do, right? To comfort ourselves with food or for alcohol or scrolling, all the things. So let's say yes to the things that do make us feel good. Now, I wish I was able to pull up the image for this one, but Malik is going to throw the link. I slacked it to her yesterday, and I thought this was a beautiful image, and it gave me a lot of ideas about the things to say no to. She threw it in there. I couldn't get it to like size right and everything. So things I'm going to say no to: extra Christmas stuff. And I don't mean necessarily just buying more stuff, but normally I put lights on my little tiny tree and I hang up lanterns and such. And it feels like too much this year. And so it's too much. I'm just going to not do it. It didn't bring me joy. It didn't bring me pleasure. So I'm going to say no to that and be okay with my little tiny pink Christmas tree and the couple of things that I did. Rumination, I'm going to say no to talking and running those negative thoughts over and over and over in my head, second guessing myself. um, Food and wine as a coping mechanism. We see a lot of us do it, right? Or shopping or scrolling. All of those things I could add here. Um, Only seeing the future, meaning I'm not grounding, right? And comparing. And I think that's a big one. I don't want to compare myself to everyone else. My path is not the same as someone else. And there are times that we go up and down. And remember, progress is not and like we'd like to think that when we're making progress, it looks like this and we're just going up, 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 up. But that's not necessarily the case. We're gonna have valleys and we're gonna have peaks. And so we really have to be able to do that. Okay. Glass of wine texting. I quit drinking like a year ago, but yeah, yeah. It's a tough one. And a lot of times it's not necessarily addiction, it's more of a crutch. So if you're struggling with ideas, click on that link Malika threw in there, and I'm gonna give you some time to write down some of the things you are saying no to, and I cannot wait to hear about them. Oh man, this hour went too incredibly fast. I have had the best, most emotional time with you guys. I hope that this has been a rewarding social for you guys. Remember, if you want to stay in touch, cue the core, CUETHECORE, meaning your core. And if you're ever in the Bay Area, reach out, come take a class with me. I'm gonna lead us out with those 80s kids. Malik is too young, so only those who are 40 plus are gonna remember this Christmas song. We're gonna end up with Christmas Run DMC. But before we do, remember, share your pages if you feel that is something that is appropriate to share. Meaning, remember, this is an app, and if it feels too, close to your heart, that's okay. And that also, that personal coach is there and ready and waiting for you. It can help you with your journal prompts every single day, all the things. I will miss each and every one of you in this time that we have together. And who knows where we might meet up again. Um, I'm going to lead us out with Rum DMC. Except for all of a sudden, there we go. Zoom decided to act up for a second.